The International Pharma Talks podcast is powered by ELS Solutions Group.
Welcome to the International Pharma Talks podcast, your go-to source for insights into the global pharma and healthcare industry. I'm Diogo Sousa-Martins, and today we're diving into the Brazilian medical cannabis market, exploring key market trends, regulatory opportunities, and future projections. In this episode, we'll break down patient data, product availability, and industry players, while also examining Brazil's evolving legal framework for medical cannabis. Plus, we'll touch on the latest research and what it means for the future of cannabis-based treatments. So let's get started. Join us as we navigate this dynamic and rapidly growing sector. As we explore the medical cannabis market in Brazil, it is important to understand the growing demand that's shaping this industry. Medical cannabis is experiencing rapid expansion, with 430,000 patients using it in 2023, a 130% increase from previous year. Projections suggest this market could impact around 7 million people, or around 3.4% of Brazil's population in the coming years. In this scenario, reports indicate that Brazil currently has around 101,000 medical cannabis companies and associations in operation. Among them, over 500 companies focus exclusively on facilitating access to and importing medical cannabis-based products. Additionally, an impressive selection of more than 1,700 medical cannabis products is available through diverse distribution channels. And these products come in various pharmaceutical forms to meet the diverse needs of patients. Prices vary significantly, and competitive dynamics within the market are driving a downward trend, making these products more accessible to patients while stimulating market growth. In terms of size, in 2023 alone, this market has generated a revenue of 699.4 million Brazilian reais, representing a remarkable 92% expansion compared to the previous year. This exponential growth nearly doubled the market size, increasing relevance within the healthcare landscape. This turns Brazil on its own in a promising player in the medical cannabis market in Latin America, expected to make considerable progresses in the coming years. From a different point of view, it is important to understand that Brazil still has a strict policy on the use of cannabis, which is in line with international conventions to which the country is a signatory. This policy is also reflected in the national legislation, which strictly controls the planting, cultivation, harvesting, and use of the plant and its products, such as CBD and THC, only for specific medical and scientific purposes, subject to legal or regulatory authorization. It is worth noting that the use of cannabis has often been the subject of legal disputes in Brazil. Noteworthy progress has been made, although since 2015, in improving access to imported products and making more feasible the regulation of the therapeutic use of cannabis by the National Health Regulatory Agency. Anvisa finally introduced the category of cannabis-based products, reflecting a progressive change in the regulatory approach. Their goal was to provide safe and regulated access to cannabis-based treatments while protecting public health. Putting aside the legal specific disputes surrounding this topic, it's crucial to understand that there are three regulatory paths for medical cannabis in Brazil. These paths today include the exceptional importation of cannabis-derived products by individuals, registering cannabis derivatives as a medicine, and obtaining health authorization for cannabis products. Each of these options has its own set of challenges and opportunities, and it's crucial to look at them in detail. Let's explore a little bit each of these regulatory pathways. One of the regulatory alternatives for medical cannabis in Brazil is the exceptional importation of cannabis-derived products by individuals for their personal use, prescribed by a legally qualified healthcare professional for health treatment purposes. It's important to highlight that these imported products do not undergo the standard regulatory process or prior evaluation by Anvisa. As a result, the agency does not officially recognize their use for any of the indications already authorized for importation. While this pathway allows individuals to access medical cannabis products that may not be available in the Brazilian market, it also poses certain challenges and limitations for both companies and patients, including regulatory uncertainties and limited access. Another regulatory pathway for these products is registration as a medicine in Brazil, which varies depending on their composition and manufacturing process. One option is registration as a herbal medicine applicable to complex plant extracts, tinctures, oils, and related products derived from the cannabis plant, characterized as phytocomplexes obtained from active plant materials. Another option is to be registered as a specific medicine, particularly in the case of isolated or purified substances of plant origin such as THC and CBD, classified as phytopharmaceuticals. Additionally, there's the possibility for registration as a new medicine, applicable to cannabinoids or either synthetic or natural origin that have undergone stages of semi-synthesis. Did you know that the regulatory pathway for cannabis-based medicines in Brazil, it's really always been there with no restrictions? But if that's the case, why aren't we seeing more officially registered cannabis medicine on the market? Well, the answer is simple: data. To get approval, companies have to prove their products are safe, effective, and high quality. And right now, many cannabis-derived products just don't meet the strict requirements regulators demand. So yes, the pathway exists, but the big challenge is whether the industry can rise to the occasion. I truly believe it will. And what about how Brazil is handling access to cannabis products? Um, in the country introduced a sanitary authorization framework, a regulatory pathway designed to expand access while maintaining oversight. Brazil adopted the cannabis products regulatory category following the approach already implemented in several countries worldwide, including Portugal, Germany, Israel, and Canada. The regulatory category established for cannabis products carries specific characteristics but also adheres to the numerous requirements applicable to medicines. However, it differs in one crucial aspect: the exemption from presenting complete safety and efficacy data. By the way, the responsibility for the absence of this data is somehow shared among various stakeholders, including the prescribing doctor, manufacturers, and patients. The issuance of the health authorization for these products is granted for a non-extendable period of 5 years from the date of publication. During this period, the company responsible must diligently apply for the formal regularization of their products through the traditional medicines registration pathway. This transition ensures that products will eventually meet the rigorous standards expected for pharmaceuticals. Given these possibilities and the need for advancements, it's also important to note that the use of cannabis for teaching and research purposes has been allowed for a long time. This plays a significant role in shaping the cannabis industry globally. However, as expected, some challenges come with the possibility due to these strict regulations. Researchers who want to use cannabis for their studies must follow certain protocols applicable to substances under special control. They need to obtain a special simplified authorization, which is valid for 2 years and can be renewed and serves as the gateway for researchers to access and use cannabis for their investigative work. Clinical research plays a pivotal role in the realm of cannabis products, particularly given their provisional authorization status in Brazil. As explained, companies aiming to sustain the manufacturing, importation, and marketing of these products beyond the initial 5 year periods granted by the sanitary authorization must undergo the process of registering them as medicines. Consequently, the conduction of comprehensive clinical studies about safety and efficacy becomes indispensable. Although clinical trials are not mandated to be conducted within the Brazilian's territory, If applicable, adherence to local protocols remains paramount as they must rigorously comply with the established regulatory and ethical frameworks. Based on this fact, there is a fundamental look at the current situation of medical cannabis products. Regarding the first regulatory alternative, there has been a considerable rise in the approval of import procedures by Anvisa for individuals, surpassing more than 180,000 cases. It is now estimated that this number has exceeded more than 300,000 cases, which indicates a continued demand and interest in cannabis products for therapeutic purposes. That's why it is important to highlight that Brazil's cannabis regulation is transitory and part of Anvisa's agenda. This review aims to address legal disputes, reassess routes of administration, pharmaceutical forms, import rules, and also dispensing requirements. But what changes could be coming, and how might they impact access? It is important to note that other cannabis-derived products like cosmetic, tobacco alternative, health products, food, recreational, industrial use, veterinary applications, and also cultivation, they remain with restrictions and right now are not discussed in health regulatory forums. While some legal pathways are evolving, major progress has yet to be made. And that is why a strategic advisory plays a key role in the medical cannabis market, helping companies navigate safety, efficacy, and quality requirements while ensuring full regulatory compliance. This not only mitigates legal risk, but also strengthens credibility. Beyond compliance, this type of advisory helps businesses identify opportunities, track market trends, and adapt quickly, giving them a competitive advantage and edge in Brazil's evolving cannabis sector. And that wraps up today's episode. We hope this discussion gave you valuable insights into Brazil's medical cannabis market and its regulatory landscape. Stay tuned for future episodes where we'll dive into the latest research, industry trends, and key developments in international pharma and healthcare business. Thank you for listening and see you next time. Thank you for joining us on this episode of International Pharma Talks podcast. For more episodes and to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, please direct to iTunes or Spotify.